In fact, I must tell you the truth. It's really not necessary for me to do a lot more talking, because the talk has already been done. The word has already been given. It's time now for us to get up and produce the works that bear witness to the greatness of the word. I recommend to those, particularly in leadership, those who struggle for the people, that it is a great thing to stop and reflect and commune with nature again, to touch real live plants and look at animals and see sky and cloud and wind and rain and water, because the forces of nature is what bring us about. And when we are in touch with nature, through nature we are in touch with the divine supreme being. But when we come into the concrete asphalt jungles and we're only in touch with the world of reality, of the misery and suffering of our people, it sometimes can close us off to finer things of knowledge that might aid us, better us, and better enable us to struggle on. So I thank the Muslim community for your hard work. I thank the laborers of Islam who worked hard in my absence to keep things going. I thank every brother and every sister that supported the month of October, the tribute to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I thank the leadership that shared their time and their knowledge that we might have a successful month. And even though you miss the brother, one of the aims in my going was to say that leadership is not a physical man. Leadership is principle. Leadership principles are inherent in the universal order of things. When we become addicted to a physical man and not the principle upon which that man's physical being is built, then when God so pleases to take that man away, we feel the void, we feel the vacuum, and then we disintegrate. White people have learned that leadership is principle, and so they set up their government, that no matter what happens to the leader, what happens to the president, one president dies, another one comes, but the nation goes on. We must mature to the point that we understand that death and life are compatible. You cannot have one without the other. We have no control over our going out, in what land we shall die or how we shall die. But those of us who live know that we shall die. So wise people prepare. And we prepare by preparing leadership, by raising up others and girding them up in the principles of leadership, so that when the evil accident of time overtakes each one of us, the nation, the people can go on and not even miss a step. This is why it was necessary that Jesus go away. He said, I go away. It is expedient, not for me, but it's expedient for you that I go away, because my little disciples, I'm speaking of Jesus now, they were too dependent on him. They were too immature and too childish to the principles of leadership that were in the very being of Jesus Christ. So when he left and they got over the shock of seeing him in that awful position on the cross and having his physical presence absented from them, then they began to realize, after they wiped their eyes, that that man had not only baptized them in water, but he baptized them in the living principles of leadership. And so it must be with all of us today.
Assalamu alaikum, family. I'd like to wish you all the best of peace, love, and happiness, and that you are inspired, motivated, uplifted, and enlightened from the viewing and sharing of this content. I'd furthermore like to invite you over to the Closing the Gap podcast every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the profound book, Closing the Gap, interviews of the heart, mind, and spirit of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a God in our midst. I thank you again for subscribing and hitting the like button as we push forward in the works of freedom, justice, and equality. Brother Camille, we are Farrakhan.